Hello, everyone, and welcome to another chapter of Jack Jameson, archaeologist and avid adventurer. Penned by Rylan Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Chapter 10. Standing in the middle of a room with no floor around us was not how I wanted things to end. That and Cassius ended up with the crown. Not good. So, now on to Plan B. Oh yeah, there is no Plan B. I was still holding onto Chris's hand while trying to think of a way out of here. What would Gates do in this situation? Oh, that's right. He wouldn't be in this situation. I know it sounds crazy, but I think we can swing over by using the chandeliers. One swing at a time. Are you okay to do that? I asked Chris, as I was worried about him. He was just punched in the stomach, which is why I made sure to give it back to Cassius. Boy, did that feel good, too. I was not finished with Cassius, not by a long shot. Yes, I'll be fine. However, we might want to do it now while we can still see. The torch is about to give out. I don't know about you, but I really don't feel like swinging in the dark. Miss ended up like the other two, he said, looking down into the dark abyss. All right, if you're ready, I will go first. Let's see how well they hold up, I said as I climbed onto the tomb so that I could reach the chandelier. Let's hope it holds, as I also did not want to end up like them and falling. Grabbing a hold, you could hear the ropes straining as I lifted my legs up and began swinging forward. I had to get enough momentum to then grab the other one, which was right over the open floor. So far, so good. As I was about to swing and grab, one of the ropes snapped, dropping me just a bit, making it so that I had to do another swing. I was able to swing over and grab the next one, and of course, as I grabbed it with both hands, 2 of the 5 ropes snapped. It took a couple of swings before I had to jump and make it onto the stairs. There, I made it. Now it was Chris's turn. All right, Chris, you're going to have to throw the torch over to me. You should still be able to see if I hold it just right, I said as he just looked at the chandelier and back at me like I was crazy. Yeah, I don't know about this, Jack. Something tells me they won't hold. From now on, if we are in a jam like this, I'd like to go first, he said as he threw the torch, which landed in front of me. Picking it up, I tried to hold it out so he could see. I could tell he was hesitating. There was no time for doubt. Can I just say that I miss you and would like for you to be over here with me? I'd like for both of us to leave this temple. Let's see if that works. Of course, he just looked at me as if I had 3 heads. I know what you're doing, which is nice to hear. However, I'm not thinking of staying here, so here goes nothing, he responded as he grabbed a hold of the first one. Chris made it seem so easy as he swung just enough to grab. As he got a hold of the second one, more of the ropes fell apart, and with one good swing, he let go, and I caught him, sending us both to the floor. Now that we both made it across, we were tasked with getting out of the temple, if Cassius didn't get rid of the rope that we used to get in. Well, at least he was nice enough to leave the rope. He most likely didn't think that we would have survived. So why bother taking it? Dumb, if you ask me, Chris said, as we started to make the climb up and out of the temple. I'm just glad I took pictures to show my father so we can come back and do a proper site evacuation. And yes, I know, I will make sure to get a new phone. Who knows? Maybe the 14 Pro Max is out and I can have the latest, he said as we made our way down the building. Now, we just had to find a way back to civilization to phone a friend and find Cassius before he gets too far. Well, looks like the floor giving out has provided us a ride after all. Let's take a ride on one of these bad boys. Smiling as I walked over to one of the dirt bikes that, unfortunately, the two men would not be needing where they went. I hopped on and started it while Chris slid behind me, arms wrapped around my waist. Off we went, following the trail left behind by Cassius, as it looks as if though he has a vehicle of some sort. Riding through the jungle on a dirt bike was not what I had in mind, yet it beats being stuck inside of the temple. We made it back to the river where a small town was settled. Using the phone in a local cafe, Chris was able to phone his father and fill him in on the details as to what happened. The professor was appalled to have learned that Cassius would do anything to harm anyone, let alone try to kill his son. The professor said we needed to make it to Lima, as he had booked tickets on a ship leaving port in about 24 hours. He also mentioned that Cassius had a room on board the same ship. The tickets were bought together, as we were all supposed to meet up when the ship docked in Nassau. So now, it was off to the port of Lima to catch a boat. Chris hung up with his father as I returned after speaking with the owner on how far we were to a city. The owner says we just have to take a ferry down to Menas, and we should be able to fly over to Lima, which is a short flight. Chris was busy charging his phone, being all quiet. I think I got a nod of his head. He looked tired and worn out, which I didn't blame him, as this whole thing has been one crazy ride. I just wanted to get to the boat so I could shower and sleep the whole trip. After our short flight from Menas to Lima, Chris and I hailed a cab so we could catch our boat, which, come to find out, the Majestic Star is a ship and not a boat, according to Chris, which he is right, by the way. I Googled it. The ship was now boarding after we walked in the terminal for, I'd say about an hour of waiting. I was keeping an eye out for Cassius, who I picked out amongst the crowd gathering at the doors leading out onto the gangway, wearing my backpack, and was being escorted by two more goons in suits. Where does he find these people? Is there an ad they answer to? As Chris and I made our way through the doors and up the gangway, we were greeted by crew members and, of course, Captain Webb. "Good day, mates. Welcome aboard the Majestic Star. I'm glad to see you both made it out of the jungle. I believe you owe me a story. You both are invited to the captain's table tonight in our Coral Lounge. I also invited Captain Eric and Mr. Fox." He finished with a handshake. "We look forward to it. Thank you." Chris beamed with happiness. It was nice to see him happy. We both made it to our room, which again only had one bed. So when I stopped and looked, he must have known, as if he was also worried about it, but was the first to speak up. "It's a bed, Jack. I think we'll be just fine. Besides that, you need to cheer up. We're on a beautiful ship, heading to the most beautiful place on the planet," he said with a smile. "We have to get my bag away from him. He thinks he won. Are you not concerned at all about the crown? Are you okay with the hell we went through because of him?" Oh, just thinking about how he had someone lay their hands on Chris boiled my blood to where I wanted to punch him right in his gut this time. Okay, he's smiling again. "Jack, Cassius will be coming to look for us. There's no need to go after him. What we went through was something out of Indiana Jones movie. Actually, more like Romancing the Stone. Just, I'm not an author." He finished by placing the crown on his head and taking a selfie. My jaw dropped. Wait, hold up a second. "You see, Jack, I took the crown out of your bag just as Cassius was coming down the stairs. I placed it back in her tomb while everything else went on. He figured it would be in your bag as you held on to it like it was a Josh Gates autographed picture. While you were swinging from the chandelier, I took it out and placed it in my bag. He was a fool not to look in the bag, and if he doesn't already know, he soon will. And you didn't think to tell me? The whole time I thought he was getting away with what we found together? I still can't believe you did that. Smart move. Let me guess, it all just happened to slip your mind? I said as I picked up the crown from the bed. Wow, what a beautiful crown it was. The museum is going to love studying and placing this on display for the whole world to see. To have something that I've only seen in drawings is really something else. It makes me happy that he didn't get his dirty hands on this and sell it. Royal jewels really have no value, as they are considered priceless. Yet I won't complain, as I'm holding about 300 million in my hands. And how she wore this thing is beyond me. It's so heavy. Sorry, babe. I was more focused on staying alive and getting out of the temple, he said. Wait, did he? My jaw just dropped. Did you just call me babe? I asked, as he just smiled. Now you sound like me. Let's get ready. Our friends are waiting, he said as he went into the bathroom to get ready. Chris made sure that we bought new clothing and such before we hit the terminal. He sure can shop. With Chris done, and I went immediately after, we were on our way to sit at the captain's table with my good friends Eric and Justin. I was surprised that Chris and I have not seen Cassius yet. I know at some point he's going to come out of nowhere. For now, enjoy being in the company of Chris. On the way to the Coral Lounge, we discussed a vacation. Yes, you guessed it. SeaWorld. I'm just kidding. Of course we're going to go see the mouse. Cassius won't make it easy, so I'm counting on him to make some trouble at some point during this trip. You'll have to wait and see.